With Star Citizen patch 4.7 set to introduce material quality to minables found across the verse, along with crafting, the industrial gameplay loops are starting to get fleshed out. But one of the missing pieces will be player refining of raw materials. So what could that look like in-game? I'm Arrastra, and this video will explore what refining gameplay might entail. Whilst references will be made to some of the sources on this, much of the content of this video will be speculative, just one player musing over what this could look like, so please don't take it as gospel, and feel free to share your own thoughts in the video comments. So first of all, it's probably helpful to consider what refining currently looks like in-game when it's done automatically by a refinery deck. Raw materials are produced and then a refinery method is selected. This method automatically refines the materials into refined goods, with a trade-off triangle between cost, time, and yield. So by paying more, you could get more materials or a quicker refine. Different stations also have different specializations, giving a minor buff or debuff to yields, allowing players to optimize to some degree based on location. With material quality being added to the mix in 4.7, there are a few variables that make for interesting choices to be made about refining. But what all of those refinery processes have in common is that they take a fair amount of time to process goods, in the order of many hours, even days, even weeks for really large jobs. So let's consider how that might translate to refining ships. At time of recording, there are 4 ships that I'm aware of that mention having refinery facilities aboard. They are the Arrastra and Orion mining ships, the multi-purpose Galaxy, and the dedicated refining MISC Expanse. The first 3 have refining as a secondary function, so the current refinery process could work on those. But the MISC Expanse has refining as its primary, really its only function. So the current process would be rather boring. Turning to the Expanse Q&A gives some hints then at what actual gameplay could look like. That document is nearly 4 years old at this point, so is subject to some change, but equally that's late enough in the development cycle for Star Citizen that many lessons have been learned, so hopefully much of this holds true. The Q&A talks about an option to put players in full control of the process of refining goods, taking much less time than the station refineries as a result. The process would be something akin to moving raw goods to the intake, analysing the materials therein, and then choosing a refining process, either an automatic one like the ones that are selected at the refinery decks, or a manual one which the player manages the grinding, melting, and dissolving of materials. So for all of the refining ships, there should hopefully be some kind of a gameplay loop attached. With salvaged construction materials and mined goods all being candidates for refineries, that should make refining gameplay a natural complement to sit between mining and salvage and hauling. As for what that active gameplay loop might look like, things are a bit more vague. The Q&A describes it as more than a minigame, but it's hard to see how that could be, not least because the current mining or salvage loops might be described as a minigame in themselves. Personally, I'm envisaging something akin to the mining gadgets and modules of optimizing different conditions and then taking an action at the appropriate time, like stirring or deploying a catalyst or reagent. That should be involved enough for those who want to partake in it, and give enough of a reason for the Expanse to exist without having to develop something hugely complicated. It could even work for player bases further down the line. And that, to my mind, should be enough. The refinery gameplay is going to be a support activity, either for a dedicated group or as a ship for hire type scenario. That's likely to be especially true for those mining unstable goods like Quantanium, where having a refinery on site could be a real boost. It gives a role to the gameplay function, widens industrial loops for those looking to optimize, but doesn't add undue complexity. As an Expanse owner, I just hope there's something in there for us, and that we don't have to wait too long to find out what. But what do you think player refining might look like in Star Citizen? I'll be interested to read your thoughts in the video comments. If you enjoyed this video, you might press the like button to let me know should I make more of these slightly more speculative videos. And if you're not yet subscribed, given that you got this far, you might like to do that too, so that YouTube will know to show you more videos like this in future. But otherwise, and as always, thank you for watching.